Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of informations from business, economic, and capital market sector. With me, Clara Antawijaya, and this is Market Headlines. And yes, viewers, long weekend is in front of our eyes. Current situation shows that many people are flocking into Jakarta International Airport. Many of them are ready to fly to their hometown even for holiday. Days after the government announced that several airlines could conditionally resume operations, passengers queuing to enter the airport and crowding inside the terminal. This is in line with the long weekend from the Wednesday to Sunday, whereas some people take this as a rare momentum. Our journalist met a woman passenger, namely Karisma. She was about to fly to Kalimantan, and she even noted that the declining price of the airplane ticket.
Pasti sih ada penurunan, nggak kayak sebelum COVID ya, pastinya kayak gitu. Cuma sih sekarang lebih waspada aja, rapid kayak gitu, agak lebih ribet aja, tapi nggak masalah sih buat kepentingan bersama juga kan biar aman kayak gitu.
Jakarta International Airport manager noted that the trend of increasing passenger has occurred since 3 days ago, whereas there are 482 aircraft per day, followed by a number of 450,000 to 500,000 passengers per day. This happened in the presence of a government stimulus for eliminating passenger service charges until the end of September. See such hype, airport management is targeting an increase in the number of passengers this October by 15%. From Tangerang, Banten, Hasnugraha for IDX Channel. Moving on to the next coverage, the Tourism and Creative Economy Ministry plans to start distributing 3.3 trillion rupiah or $224 million in relief grants to 101 selected cities and regencies in November.
The Tourism and Creative Economy Ministry plans to start disbursing 3.3 trillion rupiah or $224 million in relief grants to 101 selected cities and regencies in November. The grant is intended to help recover the coronavirus-battered tourist industry. 70% of the grants will be disbursed to individual businesses, while the remaining 30% will be given to local administrations. Meantime, the eligibility of hotels and restaurants will be determined according to 2019 hotel and restaurant tax data at local administrations. The COVID-19 health emergency has devastated the tourism industry through the large-scale social restrictions imposed in several regions, as well as border closures to prevent imported virus infections. The measures have cut an estimated 85 trillion rupiah from Indonesia's tourist revenue as of July, with losses of around 70 trillion rupiah recorded by the hotel and restaurant sector. Tourism Minister Wisnu Tamakusubandyo said that the grant sourced from the government's 695.2 trillion rupiah Economic Recovery Fund intended to help buoy the tourist industry until December. The 101 grant recipients are located in regions where hotel and restaurant tax accounted for at least 15% of the locally generated income during the 2019 fiscal year. Regarding this, the government expects the relief grant to create a multiplier effect, generating 15 trillion to 25 trillion rupiah in local revenue. Moreover, the grant is intended to help the recipients cover operational costs, pay employee wages, and procure any necessary equipment for implementing the COVID-19 health protocols. From all sources for IDX Channel.
Yes, viewers, COVID-19 pandemic has led to a big number of Indonesia's unemployment rate, which hit 6.9 million. Regarding that, the government is trying to boost labor absorptions and economic recovery by applying import substitutions program.
COVID-19 pandemic led to a higher unemployment rate. According to the Industry Ministry's data, unemployment reached 6.9 million. Due to the big number of unemployment, Ministry of Industry stated its efforts. One of them is import substitution program, which aims to strengthen nations' foreign exchange, encourage industrial structure, improve domestic supply chain, and involve Indonesia as main part of global value chain.
Untuk itu, Kementerian Perindustrian berupaya menjalankan program substitusi impor yang pada saat ini merupakan program prioritas kita, program kerja kita dalam rangka mengurangi defisit.
Not only that, the ministry added that the import substitution program is also taking role on industrial development and attracting foreign investment. From Jakarta, Ade Firmansyah for IDX Channel.
Central Bank recorded economic liquidity, or money in circulations in a broad term, so-called as M2, grew slowly in September 2020. The M2 positions in September 2020 was recorded as 6.7 trillion rupiah, only grew 12.3% year-on-year. Money circulations in the broad term, so-called as M2, only grew by 12.3%, slowing compared to the growth of the previous months of 13.3% year-on-year. M2 slowdown was driven by all components. The quasi-money component slowed down from 11.5% to 10.6%, influenced by slowing growth in the deposit time, savings, and current account foreign exchange. Money in circulations in narrow terms, or M1, also showed a downtrend from 19.3% in August to be only 17.6% in September, mainly due to slowing rupiah demand deposits. From all sources, IDX Channel. We'll be right back after this quick break. Stay tuned.
Kepala BKPM Bahlil Lahadalia bahkan mendorong investor untuk segera masuk ke kawasan industri yang disiapkan pemerintah.
Silakan para investor datang membawa modal, datang membawa teknologi, biarlah pemerintah yang mengurus izinnya.
Pembahasan pasal demi pasal Omnibus Law RUU Cipta Kerja menimbulkan berbagai polemik.
Nolak RUU Omnibus Law, khususnya klaster ketenagakerjaan yang kami anggap mendegradasi hak-hak pekerja Indonesia.
BPS mengumumkan terjadi deflasi di bulan September.
Tapi di sisi lain, hampir seluruh sektor produktif ini mengalami pertumbuhan yang minus, maka perbankan pasti akan mengalami kesulitan untuk menyalurkan pembiayaan.
Welcome back to Market Headlines. The government has set the target of making Indonesia the world's largest halal producer by 2024. And the Vice President Ma'ruf Amin believes such target can be achieved since Indonesia is a very decisive market in halal global products.
Indonesia's Vice President Ma'ruf Amin has set the target of making Indonesia the world's largest halal producer by 2024, considering its vast human resource potential, especially Muslims who constitute 87% of the nation's population. The Vice President stated that Indonesia is a very decisive market in the world trade in halal products. However, so far Indonesia has only played a limited role as a halal label provider for products made by other countries.
Pada tahun 2018, Indonesia membelanjakan 214 miliar US dollar untuk produk halal atau mencapai 10% dari pangsa produk halal dunia dan merupakan konsumen terbesar dibandingkan dengan negara-negara mayoritas muslim lainnya.
Therefore, the Vice President urged all stakeholders in the industrial sectors to take advantage of the potential of Indonesia's halal market by increasing the export of halal products, particularly from the food and beverage industry. From all sources, for IDX Channel.
And yes, viewers, as the Indonesian government has set a target of making Indonesia the world's largest halal producer by 2024, how is the current data of global halal market? So let's directly to take a look to these following graphics. So we are going to first a graphic. And here it is. Through your screen, we can see the countries with the top halal exporting countries. First of all, we can see Brazil in the first place, and then moving on to Australia and India, Sudan, and Turkey. We cannot see Indonesia in here, but actually we can take a look at Brazil successfully posted in the first place by posting 5.5 billion US dollar exporting halal things in 2018. And moving on to Australia by 2.4 billion US dollar, and India by 1.7 US dollar, and Sudan and Turkey as well. And then viewers, Brazil, Australia, India, and the three countries consistently become the world's largest exporter for the halal products, especially to the member of states of the Organizations of Islamic Cooperations, or OIC. Even since 2015, the top three countries have not even changed. If we talk about Brazil as the leading country, Brazil has three main halal certifications agencies, and since 2012, more than 300 factories in Brazil were certified in the halal products and sent their products to many countries in North Africa, Middle East, and also Southeast Asians. And so they are really serious on this, aren't they? And one more thing, what we can see from the graphic is the largest halal exporting countries are not Muslim majority country. What an interesting fact, isn't it? And so how about Indonesia? How big is Indonesia's export to OIC member countries? So let's move on to the next graphic. Here it is. Through the next graphic, you can see Indonesia trade performance with the OIC member, and as we gather from the data is the export conditions of Indonesia from January to July 2020. Here it is. We can see from the farm products, we have exported 2.6 billion US dollar. And how about food? We got 454 million US dollar. And then we got medicine products by 31.31 million US dollar, and cosmetic products with the halal certifications by 30 million US dollar. And we got these sources from Ministry of Trade and our research team. And despite the positive performance of Indonesia's balance of trade with OIC member, Trade Minister Agus Suparmanto stated that the country has not played its maximum role as a hub for halal products in the country, particularly for foods, cosmetic, and medicines, while according to the data, the market share of the three products for OIC market is still far below that of non-Muslim countries, as Brazil, Australia, and also France. It's such a bitter fact, while the government recently restated that the 57 member states of the Organizations of Islamic Cooperations, or OIC, with a total populations of 1.86 billion, are an extraordinary market for the halal products. And so, viewers, will this export data will be the end of Indonesia's ambitions of the global halal industry? Of course not. We have to look from another aspect. So let's just go to the next graphic. Here it is. Through the next graphic, through your screen, we can see global spending on halal food in Indonesia. We can see Indonesia is in the first place by the total spending in 2018, reaching 1.37 trillion US dollar, while it is forecasted that in 2024 the number will go up to 1.97 trillion US dollar. So in short, if we can take a look from the 2018 through the data, we can see that Indonesia's spending on halal food products is 173 billion US dollar, while Turkey is in 135 billion US dollar in 2018. And moving on to Pakistan by 119 billion US dollar in 2018, and Egypt and Bangladesh. And here it is. Being the country with the largest Muslim populations in the world, Indonesia is recorded as the largest consumer for the halal products. And this data has become the basis for the Vice President optimism that Indonesia is a very decisive market in the global trade of halal products. And even though in the same time the Vice President admits that Indonesia's capacity in halal products must be encouraged in order to be the main player in the industry, not only the consumer. But is it possible? Of course it is. Since Indonesia has consistently become the main player in the global Islamic finance, tourism, and also fashion. And back again to the halal product. Is there any specific step or strategy by the government to improve halal products capacity? The answer is on the next graphic. Here it is. Through the next graphic, we can see government strategy to increase the halal products export. Through your screen, we can see that the establishment of halal in industrial era, and of course government provides an integrated information system for the halal product, and then government facilitates halal product certifications for small medium enterprises. And the next one is that government provides us relaxations of export for halal products, and the next one is that government is trying to strengthen the access to Indonesians halal products abroad. And of course, to ensure that the export of halal products run well, of course, all aspects in the country must be also prepared, including certifications facilities for the halal products. Halal certifications for export products aims to boost added value and competitiveness at the global level. And in the end, it is expected to make a positive contributions to Indonesia's trade balance. And meantime, regarding the stronger or the wider access of Indonesians' halal products, cooperations related to the distributions of halal products must not be established with only Muslim majority countries, but also with the non-Muslim majority countries that have started to have awareness of the halal products. And viewers, hopefully the positive results of whole stakeholders' effort in boosting Indonesia halal product can be improved. And stay tuned to market headlines because we will be right back after this quick break.
Gabungan Industri Kendaraan Bermotor Indonesia mendukung usulan relaksasi pajak sebesar 0% untuk pembelian mobil baru.
Angka-angka penjualan kendaraan bermotor sangat terpuruk.
Berdasarkan data dari pemerintah ya, saat ini sudah 9,4 juta UMKM yang go digital. Artinya tinggal selangkah lagi ya menuju target pemerintah ini.
Kemajuan di dalam digital banking itu meningkat. Ini menunjukkan bahwa digitalisasi is here to stay.
Asosiasi Industri Sepeda Motor Indonesia mencatat penjualan sepeda motor secara bertahap menunjukkan pemulihan.
Welcome back to Market Headlines. So let's take a look at the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. So earlier today, JCI was open at level of 5,144.04, and then approaching the closing time of the first session, the index was on a level of 5,137.87. And then the index was showing weakening trend by the second session's closing time. The index was closed at a level of 5,128.22. And in short, JCI went down 0.31%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got agriculture as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 1.01%. And Miss Industry went up 0.58%. And meanwhile, for the leader of the weakening trend, we got constructions that went down 0.85%. Basic industry that went down 0.77%. And next, step aside to rupiah movement. Next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. So rupiah opened at level of 14,690. Rupiah was also showing strengthening trend by the second session's closing time, and was closed at the level of 14,632. And in summary, rupiah went up 0.18. And yes, viewers, listed company Bluebird, the largest taxi operator in Indonesia, has to swallow bitter pills in 2020. The company has to face the fact that the revenue slumped nearly 50% in the third quarter of 2020. The performance of Bluebird was still depressed in the third quarter of 2020. In the financial statements released by Tuesday, the company only collected 1.55 trillion rupiah in revenue during the third quarter of 2020. Even the company still booked revenue, but the number went down 47.63% from the previous year. In the same period of last year, company booked 2.96 trillion rupiah revenue, but now it's slumped to 1.55 trillion rupiah only. As a result, the company recorded a loss for the current period attributable to the parent entity of 156.01 billion rupiah. From all sources, IDX Channel. Yes, viewers, despite long weekend starts on October 28th this week, doctors suggested people to only staycations at home in order to minimize the risk of COVID-19 spreads. Many ways can be done in spending a long weekend this week. One of the ways is staycations in home. COVID-19 handling coordinating doctor in Primaya Hospital, Marturia Inriani, say that staycations is relatively safer than go or traveling out of town. She gave an example that one of the activities can be done in home is exercising or do some sports or even other entertaining activities with a family, which can deliver good results on immunity. She added that traveling in the long weekend has higher risk for COVID-19 spread, especially from the crowd from tourism spots.
Saya sebagai dokter menganjurkan kepada masyarakat agar supaya jangan melalaikan protokol kesehatan yang ada hanya untuk demi kesenangan sesaat. Karena jika terjadi sesuatu yang tidak kita inginkan bersama, misalnya terinfeksi virus atau penyakit yang lain, maka kerugian yang akan kita alami akan lebih besar daripada kesenangan sesaat.
The virus pandemic takes a big role on current economic situations. Here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. And before saying goodbye, I would like to remind you on what Mom said. Please do comply with the health protocol by using mask, physical distancing, and avoiding crowd. Also washing your hand with a hand often with a soap, overflowing water. I'm Clara Antawijaya. Have a nice evening and stay safe.